Hola clase, soy Profe. So today is day 2 of our alphabet notes, and today we are going to be learning about accents, which is something that we don't have in English. And I don't mean like an accent when you speak, like howdy y'all, like not that kind of accent. What I mean by that is an accent of a mark going over a letter. So the accents in Spanish look like this. This is already written on your paper, so you don't have to copy them out. But I want you to notice the way that they are formed, okay? So when you make this accent here, okay, we have a few things that we need to notice here. First things first, it's always a little tiny straight line, and it always goes in this direction. It goes up to the right, up to the right, up to the right, up to the right, up to the right. Okay, it always goes in that direction every single time. In Spanish, there are not accents that go the opposite way. In other languages, they do exist, and they're never a straight horizontal line. It always make that shape right there. So I encourage you next to these letters or above them, somewhere on your notes page, to practice writing that so that you know what it's supposed to look like. Make sure it matches what it has on your page. The other thing that you are probably noticing is that these accents only go over a certain type of letter, and we're going to put that into our notes as well. So next part in the notes that you need to write down is the name of this accent mark. In Spanish, they are not called accents, they're called tildes, and we know from the other day that sound, tilde, that's how we'd pronounce that. And they do two very important things. They can change the pronunciation and the meaning of words. We're going to talk about some examples of what that can look like here in a second. But those are the two things, make sure you get these onto your notes page, that an accent can change. It can change the pronunciation of a word, and or it can change the meaning of a word. Last thing, they can only go over vowels. That's the only place that you can put an accent, is over the vowels. A, E, O, U. You cannot put this accent mark over any of the other letters. The swirl that goes over the N, okay, I mean, hopefully you know what I'm talking about with the Enye, the letter Enye, that we went over the other day and that you're going to continue practicing with, that is not an accent mark. It's still called a tilde, but it's not an accent mark because that's a separate letter. The letter A, in Spanish, is a separate letter. It's just that sometimes it receives an accent, sometimes it has a tilde, and sometimes it doesn't. Okay, so if you were to be spelling a word, for example, and you were, spelling it out, you would say con tilde. So A with a tilde. A con tilde. E with a tilde. U con tilde. U with a tilde. That's the way that you would say this. All right, so let's talk about some examples. When I say pronunciation and meaning, what does that look like, okay, in Spanish? So the first set of words that I have up here for you is sí and sí. This is a one-syllable word, so it is impossible for the accent mark to change its pronunciation. It's only one syllable. You can't emphasize one more than the other. And so it's just sí and sí. This is not changing the pronunciation. It is changing the meaning. One of these words is probably familiar to you. It's the Spanish word for yes. Is it the one without the accent or the one with the accent? It is the one with the accent, means yes. Without the accent, it means if. And so this is something where if you're writing, obviously you want to make sure that you include that accent mark because the meaning of the word is totally different. If you're asking someone a question, for example, do you want to go to the park? And the person responds, if. Well, if what? If it's nice outside, if they're giving away free ice cream, that doesn't make any sense saying if as a single word. Whereas, do you want to go to the park? Yes. That's a conversation that makes sense. So that's why we care, okay? Because the meaning can change. Then we have this example here, esta and está. Listen again to the difference there. Esta, está, esta, está. Not very, it's subtle, okay? It's not a huge difference, but it is a difference, okay? And again, meaning is also changed here. So here we have pronunciation, esta, está. Notice wherever the accent mark is going, that's where you're emphasizing that syllable, está. Esta, está, emphasis here. And it also changes the meaning. This, esta, is está. So if you wanted to say this is crazy, you could say esta está loca, right? Esta está, this is, crazy. Final example here we have is papa and papa. Again, listen to the difference. Papa, papa. Papa, papa. Emphasis on that last syllable because that's where we have the accent. So here we have, it's changing the pronunciation, papa and papa, all right? But it's also changing meaning. Any guesses as to what these words might mean? If you guess that one of them means dad, you're correct. One of them does mean dad. You might also be thinking, oh, okay, maybe the other one means like grandpa or something like that. And that would be a good guess, but it's not. Okay, it's not. One of these words means dad, and one of these words means potato. So this is a very important difference, okay? Because obviously, when you're speaking, you want to make sure that you speak accurately so that people understand what you're saying. It doesn't make any sense for you to say, for example, my potato works at the bank. All right, that's crazy. My dad works at the bank. Sure, absolutely. Great. My potato works at the bank. What? You send your potato to work? But then, but the flip side, I love to eat fried potatoes. I love to eat fried dad. No, you don't. No, you don't. Cannibalism is not accepted in our society. No, you can't do that. No, you cannot eat fried dads. So, this is why we care about accents, it's because it can change the meaning and the pronunciation. And if you say it wrong, you might say something really wrong. All right, one last thing here. And this is on your notes page already. There's nothing for you to write down. For the examples from before, copy down as many of them as you would like. The same thing happens in English, but we have to guess where the emphasis is. So if I give you this word right here, okay, how do you say that word? Do you say object or do you say object? Object, emphasis on the first syllable, or object, emphasis on the second syllable? Well, if it's a thing, it's an object. But if it's a phrase in court, I object, you don't say I object, you say I object. And you're like, oh yeah, I do say those two words differently, but like, how would you know the difference? In English, we have no reason why you would say one the one way and one the other way. They look exactly the same. Okay. In Spanish, we would put an accent mark there, and it's to give you a hint. It's to tell you, hey, this is how you're supposed to say this. It's to help you out, which is really great of Spanish to help us out that way in a way that English just does not. Last thing for today is just like yesterday, and I'm going to move this just a tiny bit so that you can see that word. There we go. Beautiful. So these words all have accents or tildes in them. All right. And so again, you remember that the emphasis in the word where you're emphasizing that syllable is going to be where the accent is. So the first one I'm going to do with you today so that you have an idea of what I'm talking about. Here we have, let's see here. There we go. The first word. Okay, there's two syllables. There's ka with that ah sound, and there's fe with that a sound that we practiced yesterday. Okay, so those are our vowels. Ka, fe. Is this word pronounced cafe or cafe? Well, let's look at where the accent mark is. The accent mark is on this syllable, the fe. So cafe or cafe, this is pronounced cafe. The emphasis is on that syllable. So that's what I mean by this. Go through the rest of these 12. Pause the video at this point in time. Practice saying each of these. Make sure you practice and say them out loud. Try it to the best of your ability. And then in a second, unpause the video and I will give you the correct answers. Okay, so we're back and we're going to go ahead and go through the correct answers for each of these. So number 2, we have 2 syllables. Football, football, football. Next one, we have 4 syllables. Grammatica, grammatica, grammatica. Number 4, we have 3 syllables. Numero, numero. Number 5, we have 3 syllables. Emphasis, emphasis, emphasis. Number 6, we have 3 syllables. Autobus, autobus. Here we have 4 syllables. Fantastico, fantastico. 2 syllables for number 8. Limon, limon, limon. 4 syllables again for number 9. Automobile, automobile, automobile. Number 10, 3 syllables. Musica, musica, musica. Number 11, 4 syllables. Telefono, telefono, telefono. And finally, we have 5 syllables here with the last word. Unicamente, unicamente, unicamente. And that's our words for the day. That's all I've got for right now. We'll see you in the next video tomorrow. Gracias y hasta el próximo video.